Everyone wants to be someone else. You scroll through Instagram wishing you had his money, his car, her life, her body. You watch interviews and think, man, what if I was born that guy? What if I had that talent, that face, that luck? But nobody ever stops and asks the real question. What if you weren't born human at all? What if, instead of waking up to an alarm, a job you tolerate, and a coffee that's never hot enough, you woke up as something that the entire animal kingdom is terrified of? No alarm, no boss, no mortgage, just 550 pounds of pure muscle, a mane that makes everything around you go quiet, and a roar so powerful it doesn't just travel through the air, it travels through the ground, through walls, through the chest of every living thing within 5 miles. You don't dream about being famous. You are the symbol that every king, every empire, every civilization in human history put on their flag, their throne, their crown, to borrow just a little bit of what you already are by birth. That's not a celebrity. That's not an influencer. That's a lion. And today, we're going to talk about exactly why being born one is the greatest luck in the history of life on Earth. Let's start with the hardware. A male lion can weigh up to 550 pounds. That's not fat, that's not fluff, that is pure, sculpted, walking catastrophe. Their front legs alone are built like biological battering rams. A single swipe from a lion's paw can break a zebra's spine. Not injure it, break it one hit. For comparison, the hardest punch ever recorded by a human being was around 1,700 pounds of force. Impressive, right? A lion's bite force sits at around 650 pounds per square inch. Not a punch, a bite. Just casually closing its mouth with the force of a hydraulic press. And the claws. Lions have retractable claws, meaning they keep them sheathed, like knives in a block, until they actually need them, so they're always sharp, always ready. The lion is basically walking around with switchblades in its paws at all times. Their night vision is 6 times better than a human's 6 times. You can barely find your phone in the dark. A lion is hunting in complete darkness, reading the terrain, tracking prey, making split-second decisions, and the speed. A lion can sprint at 50 miles per hour, short bursts, but still. If a lion decided it wanted to catch you, the conversation would be very brief. Now, let's talk about the roar. A lion's roar can be heard from 5 miles away. 5 miles. It's not just loud, it's physically felt. People who've heard a lion roar up close describe a pressure in their chest, a vibration in their bones. Their body tells them to run before their brain has finished processing what just happened. That's not an accident. The lion's larynx, the voice box, is specially shaped to amplify low-frequency sound, the kind of sound that bypasses your ears and goes straight to your nervous system. And lions don't just roar randomly, it's communication, it's territory marking. It's I'm here, this is mine. You should seriously reconsider whatever you're planning right now. When a pride roars together, all of them at once, it can sound like a thunderstorm. Predators twice their size change direction. Herds of hundreds scatter. A lion doesn't need a fence. It doesn't need a wall. It just opens its mouth, and the entire landscape reorganizes itself around it. You want a superpower? That's a superpower. Here's where it gets interesting, because lions are the only truly social big cat on Earth. Every other big cat, tigers, leopards, cheetahs, they're loners. They hunt alone, eat alone, live alone, very cool, very sad. Lions have a pride. A pride can be anywhere from 3 to 40 lions. And within that pride there is a deep, complex, genuinely fascinating social structure. Female lions, the lionesses, are the backbone of the whole operation. They're the hunters. They're the ones raising the cubs. They coordinate. They cooperate. They've been observed using pincer movements and flanking strategies that look like something out of a military textbook. And here's the thing. They choose who's in the pride. They choose who stays. They raise each other's cubs communally. If one lioness needs to go hunt, another watches the babies. It's daycare on the savannah. It's a functional society. Male lions, meanwhile, have a different job. They patrol, they defend, they mark territory. And they project power, because a lion with a full mane is one of the most intimidating visual signals in the natural world. The mane, by the way, is not just aesthetic. It protects the throat and neck during fights. It signals health. Darker, fuller manes indicate higher testosterone. The other lions know what a mane means. The prey knows what a mane means. Everything on the savannah knows what a mane means. Being born into a lion pride is like being born into a team that already knows how to win. Let's talk about what lions have done to the human imagination, because it's kind of insane. For thousands of years, across dozens of completely separate cultures, humans decided that the lion represented the same things: power, courage, royalty, leadership. Egypt put a lion's body on the Sphinx. Mesopotamia carved lions into palace gates. Ancient Rome used lions as symbols of military strength. The British monarchy put 3 lions on their coat of arms and kept them there for 1,000 years. Narnia has a lion as the literal embodiment of good and power. The Lion King is the highest-grossing hand-drawn animated film ever made. No other animal has this. No other single animal has independently meant the same thing to that many cultures for that long. Lions didn't campaign for this. They didn't negotiate it. They just existed. And humans across time and space looked at them and went, yeah, that's what strength looks like. That is a level of charisma that no living thing on Earth has matched. Now the reputation is great, but let's get into the actual mechanics of how lions eat, because it's brilliant. Lions are cooperative hunters, which sounds obvious, but the coordination involved is extraordinary. A typical hunt involves lions splitting into roles. Some flush the prey. They move into the open, get spotted, create movement, and panic. Others circle wide, stay low, cut off escape routes, and then the closer comes in from the side or behind. They read each other without signals, without calls. Just positioning and timing. They've hunted together enough that they know the plan without talking about it. Lions also steal food, aggressively and without apology. Hyenas are actually more successful hunters than lions by percentage, but lions steal from hyenas so consistently that hyenas end up losing a significant chunk of their kills. Lions see hyenas eating and just walk over and take it. That's not laziness, that's optimization. Why spend the energy when you can just project enough presence that everything around you recalculates? A lion's caloric needs are high, about 15 pounds of meat per day for a male, but because they eat in large bursts, they can go several days between meals. They're built for feast and rest, not constant hustle. This is not a grind culture animal. The lion has figured out something it took humans thousands of years of philosophy to attempt. Wild lions live about 10 to 14 years. It sounds short, but those years are dense. By age 2, a lion cub has already been taught to hunt. By 3, it's contributing to the pride. By 5, a male lion is at peak physical power, one of the most dangerous animals alive. Lion cubs are born with spotted coats, camouflage for a world they're not strong enough to handle yet. Those spots fade as they grow stronger, as if the world only reveals a lion to itself gradually. And when a lion gets old, when the muscles slow, when the mane greys, the pride doesn't abandon it. The pride takes care of their own. There are stories of old arthritic lions being fed by younger pride members, being kept close, being defended. For an animal with this reputation, pure power, total dominance, the fact that there is gentleness inside the pride is one of the most striking things about them. A lion is not just a killing machine, it's a social creature with loyalty, with relationships, with history. That's not just amazing, that's genuinely moving. So here's where we land. You could have been born a wildebeest. You could have been born a gazelle. You could have been born a hyena, which is perfectly fine, but you'd spend your whole life watching a lion walk over and take your lunch. Or you could have been born a lion. You wake up. The whole savannah knows your name, not because you introduced yourself, but because your roar made the ground shake. You don't run from anything, you walk into every situation like you own it, because statistically you probably do. You have a crew, a family, a team that hunts together and sleeps in a pile and has your back. And at the end of a long day of being the apex predator of one of Earth's most competitive ecosystems, you find a patch of shade, stretch out in the sun, and go back to sleep. That's the life. That's why being born a lion is actually amazing. If you enjoyed this one, the whole series is right here on the channel. We've done gorillas, hippos, wolverines, polar bears, and we are just getting started. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and drop in the comments. What animal do you want us to cover next? We'll see you there.